Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. It's like some people just look for any situation to take out them being miserable with themselves on innocent people. Good on that manager, handled the deranged manic's tantrum perfectly. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Grandma goes crazy over a shopping bag. So one time this older lady came to my register and everything was fine. I scanned everything for her order and gave her the total. One of her purchases was a dress of a famous Disney character, Moana. Then at the moment I bent down to grab a bag from the drawer, she blew up on me. "Why?" she screamed and taught that I'm going to grab her dress, throw it on the floor, and step on it to ruin it on purpose. I told her that, no, I'm just grabbing a bag to put her purchase in. She didn't want that because the dress will get wrinkled. Suggestion 1. So I suggested a t-shirt box. We could fold it nicely and give it to her in the box. She said no because it wouldn't fit in her luggage. Suggestion 2. I asked if she wants it wrapped in plastic, nice and firm, and she can take it like that. She got mad at me because I thought you guys are eco-friendly people, love animals, and refused this one as well. Suggestion 3, I suggested another thing that we usually use to protect fragile stuff. It has 2 portions. One, it's white paper, and the other, it's like carton but cut in a fishnet-like pattern. So I gave an idea to wrap this like a treasure/gift from the ocean. Somewhat. She denied this one as well, since for her it looked ugly. Suggestion 4, I asked when do they need the dress for. It was a week, more or less, before Halloween. She said she needed it by the day after tomorrow, so shipping wasn't an option either. Suggestion 5, I suggested to let me check if we have one brand new from the box and its original packaging in the back, same size and all, but this triggered her off. Why? She said that I somehow knew that her granddaughter had asthma. By giving her an item that could have dust on it, it's because I wanted to maliciously hurt/kill her. She went on a full tirade on me. Luckily, my manager and supervisor were witness to the whole ordeal. My supervisor intervened first and tried to calm the woman down. The woman went off on knout, disrespectful, insultive, rude, etc. Called me all kinds of names. And still my supervisor was trying to help, but no avail, while the lady was getting more and more aggressive. Not even her husband, who was next to her the whole time, tried to calm her and said, "Let's go, please. He did nothing wrong." He had the look of, "Why? Please stop." Then my manager stepped in, and she is the boss. With no mercy, she just grabbed a bag from another register, took the dress, shoved it in the bag, folded the top of the bag, stapled it shut, along with the receipt and a smile that says, "I'll kill you," and said, "Have a good day." The lady got mad and was about to blow up at my manager, but my manager shut her down by saying, "Leave now or security will be called." After that, the lady just grabbed her stuff and ran, following behind the tired, defeated husband. After she left, I was told to get a break to calm down, recover from this incident. But yeah, I survived this ordeal, all over a shopping bag. And our next story. Fire me? I'll take you down as well. That'll be $14,000, thanks. Some backstory. I used to work for a demolition firm. All my bosses, there were 3 of them, and I got along solidly. Each day I'd wake up with a smile, knowing I'd go to work I semi-enjoyed, but with amazing colleagues and great bosses I considered my friends. The only one who was meh was a middle-aged man, let's call him John, that had worked there just a year longer than me. He always thought, thanks to this day, he was better than everyone and would always try to prove just how bad everyone else was. He would always have one person in his crosshairs, especially new hires, because no one knew them and they were an easy target. And when they made a mistake, he would amplify it. If they were fast and hardworking, he'd say he did it, and if they tried to just get out of his sight, he would make up terrible rumors about them and tell bosses and coworkers. He even tossed a full open soda can at my head once for confronting him about his own flaws. Instead of doing the reasonable thing and throwing him out a window without opening it first, I just told the bosses what happened and then went home for the day, having my work clothes drenched in soda. Now the main part. Sadly, at the end of 2021, all my bosses decided to quit. They were sick and tired of the new HR and the new rules that were implemented all over the country. We worked all over the nation with about 50 firms. They also tried to get all of us with them to a new company they were starting along with a few clients, but that's a whole other story for another day. So without bosses, HR, let's call her Karen, decided to take their place. Karen was under the impression that without any experience in the field whatsoever, that this was going to be a cakewalk. She quickly realized, though, that it was, in fact, not. In just a matter of weeks, we had almost nothing to do since Karen hadn't thought to update to whose email all the work orders should go. And when she opened up the old boss email, it was flooded with 400 orders. With fiery range raining down on her from the CEO, she were very quick to hire internally a new manager. Who was that, you may ask? Yep, effing John. Sure, John was a really good worker, probably one of the best I've seen, but he couldn't write an email to save his life. And now that he was manager, his Lord Almighty thinking just shot through the roof. Apparently a desk in a new job car can have that effect. His need to put people down or try to get them fired went way up. At this time, I had started feeling more and more depressed. It's something that comes and goes, but this time it hit hard. John, now opening his eyes for me, noticed I'd started slowing down a lot and making a bit more simple mistakes. Instead of talking to me about it, he went and told Karen about it. Karen had by this point found a new region manager, we'll call him Derek, so she didn't work as much at our region, but was still headstrong, thinking she knew everything about, well, everything. One day I randomly get pulled into the office with John, Derek, and Karen. They all sat opposed to me, taking turns explaining why I'm here and such. Of course, all complaints are fabricated stories from John. I'd come to learn his way of lying, but they told me that customers and carpenters had made these complaints. I tried to reason with them, but when I tried to explain, Karen shut me down, saying I was raising my voice and lying. After the meeting, I was on the verge of collapse. After that, I started noticing weird behaviors by John. As soon as he came out to a site, he would search me up, take a picture, and then leave, not saying a word. I talked to my workmate about it, but they'd not had the same encounter, so I knew it was only against me. He also started saying stuff to me when passing by. If we met in a corridor or such and we'd be alone, he would whisper things such as idiot, effing P-word, and so on. When I called him out about it, he started wailing his arms around, quietly saying, "What are you going to do about it?" as if he was ready to fight me. Now, I have 7 years of training in martial arts and could probably take him down with my thumb, but I wasn't ready to get fired. 2 months of this came and went until my depression, now mixed with anxiety, went rock bottom and I finally broke down completely. Thinking back, it's almost weird I didn't break down sooner. I called a meeting with Karen and Derek. Derek was like a zombie, no emotions, but I somehow thought I saw something in him. He wasn't better than my old bosses, but he wasn't as bad as John and Karen. Probably just Stockholm Syndrome, though. Telling them about all the things John had said and done, Karen promised she would start an investigation. I thanked her, went home, and went on sick leave for 6 weeks, mandatory by my doctors. During my sick leave, I got myself medicated, got in touch with the union, and even managed to start looking for other employment. During those weeks, I could barely get out of bed, and I got an anxiety attack every time the phone beeped or rang, terrified it would be from John, Karen, or Derek. Yep, that's right, I was terrified of my work. Thanks, anxiety. When I got back, John and Karen requested a meeting with me. I refused, saying I wanted my union rep there. 2 days later, we had the meeting, now with my rep. I felt safe now that there was a 2 versus 3 situation, not 3-on-1. Both me and my union rep thought the meeting was going to be about the bullying harassment case I made against John. Nope, the meeting took 2 hours, and during this time, Karen, Derek, and John took turns once again telling me, or rather my union rep, how bad of a worker I am, pulling up mistakes I made over a year ago. My union rep was boiling, but he went along with it until John spoke up. Then there's this recent thing, the murder threat you made against Derek to me. I was flabbergasted. It was a complete lie, and I knew it. I was so mad, but my rep, who's an angel, calmly put his hand on my shoulder and tried calming me down. A few more words were spoken until they finally handed me a resignation, whilst Karen says, "We know you've been trying to find a new job." To this day, I don't even know how they found out, and I think it's for the better that you just quit, making both your life and ours easier. They left the room since my rep wanted to talk to me privately. "I now understand why you called me over. This is absurd," he said. When they re-entered the room, "I just want you to leave for a bit. I'll talk to them." So I did. During this time, I don't know what was said or what happened in there. All I know is that when the rep came out again, he had a smile on his face, and Karen, Derek, and John looked bleak. After 10 minutes, Karen gives me a new paper stating that, yes, I'm fired, but is going to receive 3 months' pay, $9,000 afterwards, 4 weeks of semester in cash, $3,000, an extra $1,000 for the trouble, and they'll pay for my medicine that I purchased during my sick leave, $100. Now, it should end here, but after a week, one of my ex-colleagues called me. I just started a new job, and we talked a bit about that, but then he said, by the way, John had a meeting with all of us. He explained in great detail about why you were fired and how much money you got. This is very illegal in my country, so I thanked my ex-coworker and wrote a long email to Karen about it, but sent over a copy to my union rep as well. I heard nothing about it for a month. I thought it had fallen on deaf ears and had started moving on from it until one day I get a call from John. Hey man, I just wanted to say sorry for talking about you in front of the other guys. I didn't know it was illegal. John said, bullcrap. He only said it to avoid getting into more trouble, and I knew it. Later that day, I got a call from the same ex-coworker again. He's overjoyed and tells me, you remember that time he threw that can at you? Yes, I asked, annoyed to have to relive that in my brain. Well, he got a warning for that, and because the CEO investigated the bullying report himself, he came to the conclusion that John was in fact bullying me and gave him another warning. And because he talked about you in front of everyone, he got fired. I was really happy, almost jumping up and down at work. Oh, I wish I got to see the look on his face when he had to pack up his things. But imagining it is just as good. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.